All right, well, Danielle, I thought that you had a couple of rough spots here. You clearly had a problem with the visuals kind of catching up with them. You kind of forgot to integrate them into the speech. So they never, and then at one point you're kind of rushing through them to kind of catch up with them. So that's a little bit of an awkward spot. You start off with the very thing I told people not to do, and that is, today I'm going to talk to you about, and instead you should have started off with the story that you had, the 16-year-old girl who died. Tell that story and then transition to the topic, and it'll work a lot better. You did have a very clear thesis statement, though I agreed with David about that. The preview, there was a preview. I didn't think it was very clear because there's not any numerical signposting on it, and the sentences they kind of run together at the beginning when you're talking about before you get to the content of the speech. When you get to the content, though, you're very good about signposting each of the individual points. You have excellent transitions when you go from one idea to the next. So the organizational stuff is good. I mean, you're doing all the stuff organizationally that you're supposed to do in the speech. You just need to be a little bit more graceful with the preview, and internally I didn't have any problems with that. Content issues, I liked your explanations for the most part, but I did not hear a single source citation except researchers. And researchers, I don't know what that means. There was one piece of factual data that came from the FDA about the milligrams of caffeine that are required, and everything else, I assume that you found the information someplace, but it's not being attributed in the speech. And I know that you'll have a bibliography, it'll all be there, but you know what? Nobody else is going to hear that, just me. And everybody else in here you need to build credibility for yourself on this information. When you say this stuff about how the caffeine masks the effect of the depressant effect of alcohol kind of thing, well, did you make that up? Is that based on your own experience? Did you read it someplace? Have there been stories that were told about it? You need to tell us that. And I know that you did the research on it, but you're not citing it in the speech, and that's of critical importance. The visual materials, once you got caught up, you had a couple of interesting ideas. I thought, for example, you had the one place where you had all of the different drinks with the caffeine content listed there. That's, I think, where you needed to have that early in the speech when you're kind of defining what a high-energy drink is, and how they would be combined. I'm looking at the Starbucks thinking there probably aren't a lot of Jaeger shots with, Grand Mocha, whatever it is that you had there at the end. But, for instance, some of the other drinks, maybe there are drinks that people regularly use in bars, and that would have made, I think, more sense at the beginning of the speech. You had very nice audience contact when you were speaking to us. I thought you did a good job on that. Your time was fine. The summary was pretty good, and you almost got to the exit just fine until right at the very end when you finished by saying, the end. So, the two things that I told people not to do about the start and the end of the speech, you did both of them. So you've got the other stuff in the speech to make it work. You just need to not go to that kind of crutch thing that says, here's the start and here's the end. Okay? Thank you. I know it's tough being the first person.